I transmigrated as the Gaudy Peacock, but now I tailor for the general.
Chapter 5. The West shop was small, tucked away down a side street, which was exactly what I needed. It allowed for a soft launch, keeping the disastrous old reputation of the Peacock separate from the new Shen Cut brand. Shen Li was invaluable. She handled the accounts, managed the inventory, and learned the modern sales pitch, focusing on quality and longevity rather than flash. She was the grounding force, keeping my sometimes abstract design concepts rooted in reality. I turned the shop interior into a minimalist showcase. I removed the gaudy red and gold lacquer and replaced it with plain dark wood, using only natural light to highlight the texture of the fabrics. The garments weren't piled up, they were displayed one by one, like art. At first, sales were slow. People came to gawk, whispering, "Is the Peacock trying to sell us servants' clothes now?" But the coat I made for Shen Li was the initial turning point. She wore it everywhere, and its sharp lines and elegant flow made her stand out in a sea of brightly colored, bulky robes. She looked like someone important, someone with purpose. The first genuine customer was a minor scholar. He was skeptical, but his job involved long hours of meticulous calligraphy. He complained that his traditional flowing sleeves often dragged in the ink or bunched up when he wrote. I showed him a minimalist, dark grey scholar's robe I had tailored, focusing on the cuffed, articulated sleeve that stopped neatly at the wrist. "This allows for total freedom of movement," I explained, demonstrating the smooth rotation of the shoulder. "It is cut for your work, not for standing around." He bought it. He returned 2 days later, bringing his entire study group. "The Shen Cut," he announced to them, pulling the robe taut. "It's like wearing nothing at all. I can write for hours without fatigue." That was the catalyst. Like Ying's simple dishes, the secret to the Shen Cut was its functionality. For magistrates, I tailored coats with hidden interior pockets for documents. For wealthy merchants, I used plain silk to create robes with clean, vertical lines that made them look thinner and taller. For their wives, I introduced structural fitting that gave the Han Fu a more defined silhouette, avoiding the walking tent look. The business exploded. The dark, simple tones, navy, charcoal, forest green, bone white, became the new fashion. People were paying 3 times the price of the raw material because of the cut and the fit. We were working non-stop. My fingers were perpetually pricked and calloused, a pain I now welcomed. It was proof of honest work. Shen Li glowed with competence, managing the growing stream of orders and handling all the currency. My father, Shen Han, didn't apologize, but he would stand by the window of the shop every afternoon, a proud, bewildered look on his face. My biggest new distraction, however, was Zhao Wei. After our encounter at the market, I saw him everywhere. Not that he approached me, he never did. He simply started frequenting the street near the West shop. He didn't come in armored, but in a simple, practical leather tunic. He would wander down the lane, pretending to examine an herbalist's stall, or stand near the tea house, looking utterly bored. But he wasn't looking at the herbs or the tea. He was watching me. I would be bent over a cutting table, chalking a seam, and I would sense his presence, the air turning cool and still. I'd look up, and there he would be, sometimes just the edge of his dark shoulder visible around the corner of a building, or his silhouette pausing near the shop door. It was unnerving. Was he waiting for me to revert to the old Peacock? Was he testing me? One afternoon, a local tough, noticing the shop's rising fame, tried to extort protection money. He stormed into the shop, knocking over a stand of my best linen. Before I could even speak, a powerful shadow fell across the doorway. General Zhao, who had been browsing a scroll 10 feet away, stepped into the shop. His hand wasn't on his sword, but his presence was a clear threat. "Is there a problem with the tailoring, sir?" Zhao Wei asked the thug, his voice deceptively mild. The thug stammered, his eyes wide. Everyone in the capital knew General Zhao had zero patience for common criminals. No, General, just examining the quality, the thug squeaked, scrambling to upright the linen stand. Exceptional quality. Apologies, General. He fled the shop. Zhao Wei looked at me, his face impassive. Unruly customers, he said, and then, before I could thank him, he turned and walked out, leaving me speechless amidst the bolts of fabric. My sister rushed out from the back room. "Did you see that, brother? He saved us. He watches over the shop." I stared out the door where his retreating back disappeared. I felt a chill run through me, but it wasn't fear. "He's not watching over the shop," I murmured, rubbing my tired eyes. "He's watching me, and the plot is pulling me right back to the male lead, whether I want it to or not." My only defense against the looming threat of the plot was to make myself utterly indispensable.